Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher Circus. Today we are going to be playing, I think, a new stress team. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play something quite like this before. We are going to be having an Arbalest and a Highman in the stress team, and a very chunky front line of Men-at-Arms Crusaders. So there's going to be an immediate pull onto my Arbalest, but we do manage to resist it, which is quite nice. And it looks like we're playing against a damage team from Abstergo Syndic. Cute name, but I have no idea what it means, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop a Bulwark of Light while we still can and give protection to all my characters. So the idea behind this team is that, oh, it looks like our connection isn't too good, but it's alright. The idea behind this team is that we have a very tanky front line, we have a very tanky Arbalest, which is gonna have Flare and the heals and all that, and we have a Highman with his offensive setup that's gonna be able to pretty much destroy anything with the Grapeshot Blast. That's the idea that we're going for. Now, there's a mark and there's a stun. You know what to do, I know what to do, everyone knows what to do. We flare it away and get rid of both. And after that, we are going to start applying the Bellows, we're going to start applying the Vendetta buffs, and the idea behind the team is that, you know, just lots of tankiness with these three characters, and two direct heals, which are both pretty decent, and that one shouldn't really hurt too much because we have 40 prot, and then the Highman with his Grape Shot and the Grim Bandana Eagle Eye Talisman duo, or like combo, just gonna shred through my opponent. That is the plan, that is the hope, that is the dream. Right now I'm just gonna drop Bellow to reduce that Arbalest damage even further. She does have the Piercing Coil, so she's gonna be able to bypass 20% of our protection, which is essentially the Bulwark of Light. But our characters do have pretty decent protection, so that shouldn't hurt all that much. Yeah, it only hurts for 9 because of the Battle debuff on top. So overall, quite a nice outcome for us. I'm just gonna drop a Vendetta here to reduce that Grave Robber's Ultra completely, to make sure that we're gonna be bellow debuffing her every single time that we want to. And yeah, quite surprised that this Bounty Hunter does have Infamous Visage. I guess there is that stress opportunity there. And right now there's going to be a stun. In response to that stun, I'm just going to drop another Bell here to keep reducing that damage. That is what we want to do. If there's a mark now, I flare the stun away again. And after flaring the stun, I'll be able to drop a Zealous, which against only 5 and 0 dodge, unless there's an immediate Shadow Fade, against only 5 and 0 dodge, we'll be quite happy. There's also another thing which I want to do, which is not going for... I could go for the flare immediately, but I want to prevent Shadow Fade, or not prevent Shadow Fade. I want to make it so Shadow Fade doesn't feel quite as good to use, because I'll just flare it away, right? But flaring the stun away is quite smart too. Would she do enough damage even if she crits? Probably not against 40% protection. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna let the Grave Robber keep her action. I just want to get rid of the stun and the mark. I think that would be overall smarter for us, so I'm just gonna do that. You know, if you have double value from using Flare, don't be greedy and try going for triple value. I don't think that would be too necessary. So now there's just gonna be a Flare from my opponent's side, getting rid of 2 of the Battle Divas. Not 3, just 2, and we are going to reply with the cells before we can't. I'd rather hit the Grave Robber, which has a confirmed chance, than miss the Bounty Hunter right now, and she's even a more important character than the Bounty Hunter this match. Now, she doesn't have Pick to the Face, but I'm slightly more scared of her than I am of this Bounty Hunter, so right now I can go for Duelist Advance here. I do a surprising amount of damage to that Crusader, and he doesn't have that much HP. I'm gonna go for him actually, because if we do get him to drop down to Zealous and just start dropping from Zealous, he's gonna have a terrible time here. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna enjoy myself. And you can see the team's in pretty good shape, and I'm now ready to start dropping those Grapeshot Blasts. So here comes another pull, fails again, and that's the surrender. So GG to my opponent, you lose. That's kind of the problem when you're playing Mark teams, and the offense just doesn't work, because I think those were 3 pulls, all of them failed. That's not valid right there, and that's Circus rank 1 for your favorite Shepherd doggy. And let's go on for match number 2. Alright, and this time around we're playing against I Hate You, so that is an interesting name. Might be directed at the Mark team players, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like my opponent is playing a mix and match between stun and stress on that Crusader. A Bounty Hunter for that stun synergy, so there's that. I think it's a stress Bounty Hunter too. And then a Cultist with an interesting setup, so probably doesn't have all the trinkets because I don't see a Sacred Blade. There's definitely an idea behind my opponent's team, so let's try and play against it. I think that first things first, I'm actually just gonna drop a Bolster here. And the team might have looked very powerful in the first match. I mean, it looked fantastic, just complete decisive victory. It did very well. But overall, it has some glaring weaknesses. First off, it's got barely no disruption. Like, it doesn't have pulls, doesn't have pushes. Well, it does have pushes, and yeah, just not any pulls. And you can look at the push as a reverse pull on the other characters. But yeah, in terms of actual disruption against the opponent's side, it doesn't really have a lot going for it. And other than that, it also doesn't have a lot of burst power. It also kind of suffers if there's a lot of DOT on it, because you can't really clear the blights, you can't really do too well with all that. And it's kind of slow. You might have noticed that it was round 3 and we hadn't really done too much to my opponent. We just had a really good matchup where we were able to hold our ground, which we just failed to do, even though we have 80% move resistance. We were kind of just unable to hold our ground, and that really didn't... well, yeah, in the previous match we were able to hold our ground, we were able to play defensively, and it just came to an impossible situation for my opponent to win. But most matches aren't going to go quite like that, and you're going to be put in some serious hardships playing a team like this. Especially against stress teams, because all your protection and tankiness really isn't going to do very much. But yeah, we'll see what we can do here. There's probably going to be a Zealous, maybe even a stun, but no, it's like there's going to be a Zealous. It does no damage, it does small amounts of stress, so I'm not too concerned about it. I could go for a move back twice, or I could just drop a Bola. I'm going to drop a Bola because I think the disruption could be nice, but it also opens up uppercuts, so maybe not the greatest play by me to do that. But I wasn't expecting 2 knockbacks on it. Yeah, I should have just moved back twice, I believe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Well, right now I'm gonna drop a... What am I gonna drop? I'm gonna drop a Vendetta on that Bounty Hunter, just so he doesn't dodge anything, you know, especially my Zealouses. I don't think that would be very nice of him to start dodging Zealouses, so let's just drop that. Yeah, Vendetta on the Bounty Hunter, quite interesting, right? Normally you'd drop it on the Occultist, but he doesn't have a lot of debuff resistance, so it's quite likely that he'll just dodge it or something, or... I mean, resist it, that is. Okay, 2 battle debuffs on us, not the end of the world here, absolutely not the end of the world. And right now we could drop Zealots, I mean, we could drop a command buff, but I don't think that would be changing the match too much. So instead I will start dropping Bellows and start doing stress to my opponent's side as well. So this is a very good Bellobot team, you know, you have Pit Fighter Salmirii, so the Bells are going to be doing a little extra stress, you're very tanky, you have extra accuracy, extra debuff chance, overall very nice. And thankfully my Arbalest is really taking that much stress because she does have Medic's full plate and the Bolster, so she's taking a third less stress. That is very, very nice, but maybe it's not quite enough because she's almost at affliction range already. I'm gonna drop those Zealouses. Keep in mind that with Rite of Execution, Pit Fighter's Helm, you do a decent amount of damage, you do a very good amount of stress, but you only have 98 accuracy, which means that you're always going to have a miss chance against 5 dodge characters. It's always a 93% hit chance. And I've seen those miss a little too much for my taste, so yeah, do keep that in mind. Here the Arbalest really isn't doing that well. Actually, what am I doing with Sniper Shot? You should not have Sniper Shot on her, you should have Suppressing Fire. Well, that's a huge misplay by me. But maybe it won't impact too much. But yeah, if you're playing with an Arbalest against other stress teams, you should have the Suppressing Fire, because it's going to do very good against these characters, and the Sniper Shot probably isn't going to do anything. Well, against the Occultist it won't do very much, because you're probably not going to get the debuff, and even if you did, most of his horror is applied through... I mean, most of his stress is applied through horror, and minus their stress dealt debuff doesn't really do too much for it. It's only the plus stress taken that will actually matter. So at this point I could drop another Duelist Advance, which is gonna help against that Zealous. Yeah, it's gonna help a bit. Should we go for it, or should we just start dropping Grape Shot Blast? It's kind of the dichotomy of the Highman. You can do one thing or the other, both of them are pretty good. I think doing damage might be superior here. Yeah, let's go for the Duelist Advance, let's keep our riposte up, and then we're gonna start dropping Grape Shot. I think just being able to repulse it, maybe get a crit for like 15 or something, would be very, very helpful here, because then we'd be able to drop Zealouses and just feel good. But there's a lot of damage debuffs on us, so our repulse is gonna tickle quite a bit. Yeah, thankfully they don't have Polar Call of their own, so our repulse is still slightly more than a tickle. But yeah, Do I want to drop a command buff here? Not really, so instead let's just drop a nice little bellow and keep reducing my opponent's damage and keep doing some stress. You can see that we really aren't doing that much stress. We don't have an abomination, we don't have a doggy, we don't have an occultist. Our stress output really isn't too good. We also don't have a flagellant for Reign of Sorrows or some stress shenanigans like that, so this team definitely has some big downsides. But it's good at what it likes doing, which is sticking it to the damage teams. But yeah, when you're not playing against damage teams, oh boy, it's gonna be difficult. But it's not looking too shabby here. We do have this repulse. I'm really hoping that it gets a crit and like an affliction. That would be great to get that on the bounty hunter. I think that would be epic. We have a lot of crit chance here. We do have a lot of crit chance between the Grim Bandana and the Repulse plus 5 crit and the Vendetta buff. Our crit chance is through the roof right now. How much damage are you doing? Yeah, how is that? Selfish and minus 80. Yeah, I'm not really gonna do too much from that. Well, I'm just gonna flare the debuff away. I think this is okay. This is gonna make it so we actually do some serious damage now with the Crusader and with the Highman, and that way we are gonna be able to take away some of my opponent's turns through the collateral damage by making it so the characters have to heal if they want to stay alive, of course. Even though stress is our main condition, you can always do that. I think that my opponent's really skipping a beat here by not going for the uppercut. Should definitely be going for those, but I'm not gonna complain. Right now we're gonna drop this Grape Shot. Come on, Grape Shot, do not disappoint. Yeah, that's not disappointing at all. That's a very nice 9, 10, 10. Yeah, that is good. A little bit unnecessary, the crit on the Bounty Hunter, or was it? Yeah, it was on the... no, on the Man-at-Arms. Yeah, a little bit unnecessary, the stress on the Bounty Hunter, I mean, because he was already at 90, but, you know, we will take every crit we can get. Here comes the Abyssal Artillery now. If you did have Rampart in this team, you could kind of shuffle around the Man-at-Arms and the Highman with the Rampart, and that way you could kind of be... you could kind of have some counterplay against Abyssal Artillery. If you do want to try that out, if you want to play this team and you've been playing it for a while and you think like, yeah, I really want to have Repulse against Occultist. Occultist is just destroying my team. So if you do see that, then for sure give it a go. But right now I'm going to click here and I'm going to try going for a Bell just to get an Affliction on there and do some stress. I don't really want to do Zealous for one stress. So I'm just gonna drop the Bellow here so we don't waste quite as much. I think this is a play that you should always look out for. Like, you should not be wasting 20 stress on a character that's almost afflicted. That's one of the easiest ways to start losing matches as stress teams. You need to make sure that you use every single point of stress that you're capable of outputting. So here come the stuns. That's okay. And I could flare it, and I will actually. I will totally flare this, because my Zealous action is way more valuable than my Arbalest action at this point, so let's just do that. We do a bit of extra stress on that Bounty Hunter from a Bark, and he did go Hopeless, and the Crusader went Masochistic, so not the greatest afflictions. Crusader Masochistic's not that bad most of the time, but at least he has 0 dodge now, so we're definitely not gonna miss that. They both have 0 dodge, right? Yeah, they do. So yeah, let's go for the Zealous. No crits, sadly. When Zealous crits, it's ridiculously strong, but you still do a lot of stress even without crits. That's because of the Monkey spell right there. Right now this Bounty Hunter actually has Sanity Spine, so you would have some decent abilities against the afflicted characters, but imagine if that had pull chance, like move chance. You know, you could actually move characters like the Arbalest and the Crusader around, like it moves, pushes, and pulls. Right there, he just had a chance of completely messing up because of that, but yeah. I think that here, I'm in a bit of a rough spot, but I'm just gonna click and I'm gonna go for a Bell debuff. You know, when in doubt, Bell it out. That's what my brother says. And even though I get stunned there, I don't really care about it too much because I'm gonna flare anyway. So, thank you, Man-at-Arms, for doing the irrational act out. You think you might have thrown the match right there, but I was gonna flare anyway, so it's not gonna matter. Unless Selfish passes. If Selfish passes, we're screwed. But hopefully that's not what happens here. I'm gonna drop a point-blank shot before anything else, right? Or I could move back twice. I'm gonna move back twice here. I think that's the wisest play, because after that I can keep dropping Zealous, and Zealous is the way to go. Dropping a point-blank shot here would just drop the Crusade down to 0, which is good, but it wouldn't change all that much. We actually dodged that, really? How? Well, you have 110 accuracy against 25 dodge. Yeah, I suppose the hit chances aren't all that good when you don't have the Fleshbound Grimoire, so sad that my opponent doesn't actually have that trinket, most likely. So a little bit of extra stress. That Bounty Hunter is now gone to a Bellow for sure. So we will try doing that. If my opponent doesn't go for a heal right now, for a heal, that Bounty Hunter will be gone by the start of next round, no matter what. And, you could even go for a Sound of Man-at-Arms, but not only is your stun chance not guaranteed, and not too likely, I also have Grape Shot to do that AoE stress. So my Genius move back twice move did not pay off, sadly, because Fearful just moves back. So I guess instead I'll just drop this on the Occultist. Yeah, that is really sad because Crusader is way more powerful when he's doing self-acquisition. Oh, I guess the Bounty Hunter just stoofed himself anyway, so who cares? And here I'm gonna go for the Zealous this time. Yes, thank you Crusader for not doing something dumb. And look at the amount of stress. That's 32 plus 5, so 37 stress onto that Crusader. And yeah, the frontline destruction with this team is really nice with the Zealous and the Grape Shots. Like, it's solid. It is solid. Here comes the Zealous on my end. Only does 29 stress. I say only with a pinch of salt because that's still a pretty big amount. And here we are gonna drop a Bellow, which is just enough to take out that Crusader. Pitfighter's Helm still doing a little more stress, and that's gonna be an Affliction. And the enemy Occultist, even though he's in really good shape, I don't think he can take out my Higher Man. The rest of my team is kind of in shambles though, so maybe there's still a chance. A little bit extra stress, that's fine. Yeah, if that Occultist, if he had been since round 1 just spamming Abyssal Artillery and he had the Fleshbound Grimoire, you're just gonna have a terrible time. You can make use of maybe even putting the Crusader in second and then just shuffling around with Duelist Advance, Holy Lance, but that's kind of not what this team is here to do. The Grape Shot is what the team wants to do, not that. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna... I don't really want to eat Abyssal Artillery. I'm gonna have to eat it no matter what. I'm just gonna do this. That's some very nice crits. You're critting way more than I thought you'd be. I guess Grape Shot Blast is minus 5% crit mod, but Highman just gathers so much crit modifiers from a lot of things, and it just crits a lot. And it feels really good when it crits too, so that's nice. That's probably an Affliction right there. No, it was only stress on the Arbalest, surprisingly. And now we can go for a Sniper Shot. We're doing laughable amounts of damage, but we get a high roll on it, or a max roll on it. So your Cultist is already in really bad shape, and we're very happy about it. So here comes the Bellow action. It does make me have a heart attack. I think you're definitely gonna take at least one of my characters here. But if I get really unlucky, I can still lose this. Let's keep that in mind. If I get quite unlucky, this match is not a win for us just yet. I don't think I'm too preoccupied with losing my Man-at-Arms. If you go for a Weakening Curse here on the Man-at-Arms, I think that would be a bit of a misplay, because you have a kill on the Arbalest and you have more damage on the Higher Man. So I think that would overall be better for this Occultist, but now he goes Fearful and... oh, that's justice. No, that's not justice. That's bad, yeah. I still don't think that was a surrender turn. You were gonna kill the Arbalest, Man-at-Arms was gone to a Bellow, and then the Crusader and the Highman were both afflicted, so you definitely had a win chance there. That was not a surrender turn, but GG to my opponent, and you can see that this team does have some very defined strengths, but also some very defined weaknesses. So yeah, let's give this Arbalest a rightful build, which is Suppressing Fire. You can also run Suppressing Fire and then just bring Iri, or actually no, not Iri, you can bring her actual trinket. You can bring the, well, what's it called? What's that thing called? The Wade Bolas, I think? Yeah, the Wade Bolas, which is overall a better trinket because it also gives you move skill chance on the Bola, which can be nice. So yeah, you can bring that if you want to. You can even get rid of the Crusader, bring a Flagellant. This is a really old team. This was like, this team's over 2 years old. There was this guy called SPRH that used to play a team just like this. I remember him bringing Eagle Eye Talisman on the assignment. Everyone thought that was weird, but he needs the accuracy for the Grape Shot Blast. So yeah, very defensive team. Like, you have to play this with surgical precision if you want to bring it like this, but you can also run Reign of Sorrows. There's a lot of different setups you can bring, and I think they're all pretty decent and fun to play. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers!